You're listening to the Electronic Media Collective Podcast Network. For more great shows like the one you're about to enjoy, visit electronicmediacollective.com. And now, our feature presentation.
Welcome to the exciting world of the movies.
Boo and Goat in the movie graveyard. We had to dig deep for this one, 1995 to be exact. We are going to be discussing today what I think is like a little known gem. Like, I really don't hear anybody ever talk about this movie, but I was like all about it from as soon as it came out. I was very excited about it. Talk about why in a minute.
I didn't even know about it.
You never even heard about this movie?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm honestly not familiar at all with any of Johnny Depp's filmography, except for like the obvious recent Ghostface roles.
Yeah.
But so yeah, I didn't even know about this one.
So I was pretty much onto the Deppster from 21 Jump Street, so I was seeing all his movies pretty much as they came out, and this is kind of like actually one of his early ones. But yeah, we're talking about Nick of Time, the tense suspense thriller directed by John Badham. We're going to get rolling here. I have it on the newly released Blu-ray. Just came out a couple of months ago. I have it at the 14-second mark. I'm not sure if you're following along with the DVD or some other recording. But we got a pause where it's the Paramount logo, and where all the words are up, it says Paramount, a Viacom company, which I believe it still is a Viacom company. But this is a particularly colorful version of the Paramount Mountain logo. It's much more colorful than the one that they used in the 80s. But yeah, so we got it at 14 seconds, Paramount Viacom company. I'm going to say 1, 2, 3, go. And if you'd like to follow along with your disc at home, please hit play when you hear me say the word go. All right, everybody, buckle up. You got your watches strapped on tight? 1, 2, 3, go. All right, we are rolling. So, like, pretty much right off the bat, we're going to get, like, a montage of, like, creepy clocks and inner workings, because this movie is literally all about time. The reason I was excited to see this when it came out, I can't remember if it was, like, HBO First Look or E! Or something, but I saw something that was basically promoting this movie right before it came out, and it talked all about it being a real-time thriller, which I meant to look it up, but I don't know who originated that, but it's an old suspense kind of trick of filmmaking, whereas by real time, what they mean is, like, so if you have 80 minutes left in the runtime of the picture, there's no time jumps forward, just everything is taking place in real time. So everything you see is, like, you know, the whole movie, after, like, the first maybe 10 minutes, yeah, this movie's a little under 90 minutes. About 88, 89 minutes, and pretty much after the first 10 minutes, you know, you're just, like, following the characters, like, beat by beat, like, minute by minute, like, no time really passes, you know, quickly. It's not like you cut to this and cut to that. It's, like, pretty much just following Johnny Depp and, like, you know, everything else that's going on as he's running around. But, yeah, this is a cool opening sequence. Like, I'm sure it was meant to, you know, harken back to, like, Hitchcock days, but it reminded me of a lot of, like, the early Dario Argento opening sequences with the close-ups. Like, you're getting close-ups of a gun and the inner workings of a clock and the bullets here. It's very cool. Like, I don't know if these were... The gun in particular looks like it might have been like an oversized prop that they built, but it could have just been like a really good lens that they're able to zoom in on. But yeah, so this is a complete coincidence. I should say, like I said, like, I've been a fan of this movie, like, since it came out. I only seen it maybe, like, one other time since the theater, like, on cable or something. And, yeah, when I found out the Blu-ray was going to be announced, which, by the way, for all you Blu-ray collectors, Paramount has opened the vaults. I don't know what's going on. I guess they just got to make some, like, actual money now that they launched a streaming service and are, like, you know, losing billions. They, like, all of a sudden, like, they were the studio that never cared about releasing their movies on Blu-ray, and they released, especially their older films, they released more on, like, the last, like, well, really since the pandemic, but really, like, the last year and a half, they released more Blu-rays than they have in the, like, the whole 20 years that Blu-ray's been out, so it's pretty crazy. So when this was announced, I mean, I was through the roof, and I got it. You know, I was like one of those pre-order guys. Got it the day it came out in the mail. I've been meaning to watch it, and it's just complete coincidence. We've been watching some of Johnny Depp's movies lately, and we actually watched this on my birthday like a week ago, and it's a complete coincidence. But today, when we're recording this, is actually Johnny Depp's birthday.
Yeah.
Which by the time I edit this tonight and upload, it'll be tomorrow, so it won't be his birthday anymore. But I guess we're kind of celebrating. We celebrated my birthday with this movie, and now we're celebrating Johnny Depp's birthday. So here we go. It's Gene Watson is Johnny Depp's character. He's a young guy. We don't know much about him at this point in the movie. He's just on a train with his young daughter, Amtrak train. They're
watching the little girl be traumatized of watching homeless people beat each other.
Yeah, like talk about like really foretelling the future. They're rolling in LA, and all they see is like all the homeless people outside fighting, beat each other up, living in trash and shit. So I just love how classic this movie opens with the train station, and here you get a scene of Christopher Walken and his female lackey, his partner, and you really don't know like what's going on at this point in time, but like they're just watching people get off the trains, and they're looking for somebody.
Yeah, it looks like they're like good guys. Like it looks like they're cops looking for bad guys.
Yeah. And we even get some early villains here. Like, you don't know, like, oh, who are they looking for? Because there's, like, it's very 90s. This movie came out in 95. There's some very hoodlums on some rollerblades, and they're flying around the train station. Like, these are almost like some bad guys you would see in, like, Batman Forever or Batman and Robin or something at this time. And, are they looking for criminals? Like, you don't know, because, like, Walken and this lady, they're just like cops, which maybe they are, maybe they aren't. That's part of the mystery of the movie. But, they're, like, trying to find people out of the crowd to do something for them. And, they obviously, because he's the star of the movie, they end up picking Johnny Depp. But we'll get to that in a second here. But, yeah.
But it's interesting how they're looking through the crowd and, like, looking at the relationship between, like, the people together. Because they're trying to find somebody, I guess preferably a male, that would, that cares a lot about their companion to the point where that's how they decide, like, who they're going to choose. Or at this point, you don't know what they're looking for, but, it decides when they find the person that they're looking for, so to speak.
Yeah. And it's kind of funny because, like, you think they would immediately just be looking for somebody, because early on, like, they're pretty much pointing out, like, all these, like, married couples or, romantic couples. Like, you think they would have picked out somebody with a kid first, but no, there's really, like, nobody else running around this train station with a kid until Johnny Depp shows up.
And you see this couple. He thinks he found the couple that he's looking for. Yeah,
like it's a young couple that's basically just like sucking face. Yeah.
The little girl, she's so funny.
Yeah, and like they get close up and Walken hears them talking, and you can tell they're foreign. That's not going to work. They need some people who speak English.
I thought this conversation was strange, that he was having this conversation with the little girl.
Yeah, we'll get into it, but this movie's like very old fashioned and it has some strange dialogue in it. But he talks to her about the people sucking face right next to them. And he's like, oh, didn't you ever see me and your mommy kiss like that? And she's like, no. And the little girl's like, no.
How did you see us kiss? Like, what a weird question. Like, what is she supposed to do? Like, kiss him? Yeah. Like, it's so strange.
I think that was meant to be like a little humor at the beginning of the movie.
I know, but it was a strange conversation.
So like Johnny Depp at this point, we looked it up the other day, like he hadn't done that many movies. Like he kind of springboarded off Jump Street. Obviously, like, in the early 80s he did like Private Resort and Nightmare on Elm Street, but those were like really, low budget movies, smaller roles for him. But like, he came off Jump Street in like 90 and he had Edward Scissorhands. That was kind of like his big breakout film role. And then he did a lot of movies that were like they did pretty well, but like, I don't know, like they weren't like mega hits. So like, this is really only like maybe the fourth, fifth, maybe sixth movie that Johnny Depp ever starred in.
This is weird too. How like the guy's like picking on the little girl. There's like a lot of weird things that happen in this movie. It's like, why would he care about her? Like,
well, the guy on the rollerblades, he wants to steal the little girl's teddy bear, and he's like, "Come on, man, I just want the teddy. Come on, let me rob the little girl."
I just want to harass her.
Yeah.
Leave me alone. Let me do it.
And Johnny Depp shows heroism by knocking over a trash can ashtray thing. It makes all the rollerblade guys like crash. So, and then when Walken sees that, you can see immediately he's like, "That's it. That's the guy right there." But like, I kind of like felt it like at the time, like, even this movie came out, because movies in the '90s were a lot more like bigger. Over the top, I guess you would say, more expressive. So like in the 90s were really the decade of like crazy cameras and editing and shit movies. But like even then, like yeah, like I really like the style of this movie, and it's like if you look at it, it's cut more like modern movies with like a lot of fast cuts and cutting back and forth. Like there's not a lot of kind of like still camera shots and stuff, which is interesting because this is actually a director who had at this point been around for quite a while. John Badham. He had a bunch of big hit movies starting in the late 70s. He did Saturday Night Fever, then he did Dracula with Frank Langella, and then he had more hits with like War Games and Blue Thunder and Short Circuit. So yeah, like I don't know, like John Badham's like somebody whose name I kind of always like remembered, like always being on a bunch of movies, but I didn't realize like how many movies he did that I was like really a fan of. And unfortunately, I think this is like his second to last theatrically released movie. He did one after this, a couple years after this, called Incognito with Jason Patric, which I have heard of, but I don't really remember when it came out, and I never saw it. But yeah, I just think he's an awesome director, and especially with this movie, it's real obvious that this was meant to be like homage to Hitchcock and the old-fashioned kind of suspense thrillers, and like some movies are like really a slow burn. But what I love about it with that kind of time gimmick, you know, real time going on, like this movie always felt to me like a bad nightmare, like a bad dream that you can't wake up from. So here's pretty much the premise is laid out. They show him, Johnny Depp, their badges and say they need him to come with them. And basically Walken gives him a gun and gives him an envelope and tells him he has to go. He starts whacking him in the knee with the pistol. He tells him, you have to go across the street to where this big hotel is, and you got to kill somebody for us, or else we're going to murder your daughter. So that like it's like
and he like is jacked up from that the whole time.
Yeah, like they even show he pulls his pants up later and like his knees all bloody and shit. But what would you say about like especially with the career that Johnny Depp went on to have after this, with more and more kind of Tim Burton collaborations and stuff, where he was playing more theatrical characters and over the top characters? I always like this movie. Always stand out to me like as a Johnny Depp fan. Like I always like this as one of his more like straight man roles, like more like an everyday type guy roles, which he after a certain point he didn't play it like really that much.
Yeah, this was kind of strange for me to watch because, like I said, I'm just used to his, like, over-the-top costume characters. So, like, I don't know if it was because of that I'm so used to, like, I don't know, it's weird. I know that, like, the characters he usually does now are, like, you know, over-the-top characters. But in this, even though he's supposed to be, like, maybe he was always destined to do roles like that, because I felt like in this, like, so many of his expressions were so like over the top. like when he gets hit in the leg, like I know obviously that's gonna hurt you, but he just plays the emotions like very like over dramatically that it was kind of funny to me sometimes, where I was kind of like, oh, he's acting funny, you know? Like, so like I don't know, it was strange for me to see him acting like a normal guy. Like,
yeah, like you thought Johnny Depp was like you really weren't kind of like sure what to think about his performance, like how good it was or wasn't. But like I just feel like this movie is like everything about it is so over the top, from like the from like the acting with like Christopher Walken and just like, you know, the stuff he has to do and the camera angles are like real exaggerated and everything.
Yeah.
You know, like even like shots like this, like where they put the camera like right next to his face and stuff to show that, like, it's a very big, I don't know what you call it, it's like a big expressive.
It's funny because it's like I think I probably noticed it when we watched it the first time, but like, you know how whenever I'm watching like the movies on TV and you're just like, oh, it's zoomed in because they like cut it or whatever.
Yeah, where they take widescreen movies and they don't want to show the.
That's what this looks like.
Yeah,
just, like,
it does.
It's like right now I just realized that like that's what it feels like because everything is filmed close up and all that.
Well, it's like there's a lot of like really kind of extreme close-ups on faces, which is like you kind of see more now because like they shoot TV shows and stuff to be watched on iPhones and everything.
Like Power Rangers.
Yeah, but like
I love that the little girl loves Power Rangers.
Yeah, talk about like the perfect time capsule too, right? Like this movie came out like 95. Like I'm sure they filmed it around 94 sometime. But yeah, like the lady tells the little girl, "Your daddy's going to be a hero," and she's like Power Rangers, and she's like, "Yeah, just like Power Rangers." Now this is a very kind of old, I don't know if old timey, but it was very traditional at the time to always wet down the sidewalks everywhere in movies, and they would always do it at night to make the night like shiny. But this is one of the few movies I can think of where it's like real obvious just during the daytime they just watered everything down.
You don't think they did it as a form of lighting?
Well, yeah, like I think to make the sunlight and everything bounce back up, because like this part where they're outside the train station, it's like very bright. Like it's not like now where they can digitally like mess with stuff and make everything all orange or whatever. But yeah, I think they were trying to make it like this part like the most bright. But you can kind of, on that one shot, you can kind of see down the street and you can see the kind of like the line where like the wetness stopped, kind of.
That part where like he turns around and the van is gone, like that sucks, man. Like you have no control and like these people just like stole your daughter. It's like, oh my god.
Yeah.
And then this I'm probably gonna bring it up eventually, but this too, like it was kind of one of the things that I was thinking was over the top as well. Was just like freaking Christopher Walken's character is just like constantly popping up everywhere, and it was so like so many times I just wanted to be like, that looks like green screen.
No, I don't think it is. I just think the reason it looks like that is they have a light bouncing like right off their faces right there.
There were so many times where I was just like, dude, if you want this done, do it yourself. Because, like, he would constantly keep popping up. And I was just like, leave him alone to do it if you want him to do it. So it was like, that was the first time that he pops up like that when he starts trying to talk to the cop. Yeah. Starts walking to the cop, and then he's just there all of a sudden.
I think that was
Even though he had disappeared with the van.
I think that was like a scary 1-2 punch of like how he turns around, the van is gone, his daughter's gone. And then, like, as soon as he sees, like, the first cop, he goes up to talk to him, and then, like, Walken just, like, pops up behind him. Yeah. I think it's good. And, like, here during the cab part, too, like, a lot of the camera work, and when they show him close-up sweating and everything, like you can tell, like, this is very kind of, like, Hitchcock, over the top. Like, I just missed kind of old movies that were, like, showed, like, that, like the filmmaking, like how we always talk about now, they do that corny shit now where they try to make you feel like you're in the movie by always shaking the camera. Whereas I feel like this was like the real approach to that, where it's like, instead of like shaking the camera to be like, oh, you're running down the street too, it's just more like focusing on the emotion of everything.
Yeah, like you really feel like right now he's like so confused and like trying to figure out what to do, and like the guy's trying to talk to him, and you kind of want to be like, say something, or like, I don't know, like, it's so like, I don't know, you totally feel like how, you know, he has no control over the situation.
Yeah, like the panic is really set in, that he's like at this point he's really not thinking like, oh, I'm going to go kill somebody for them. Like, he's kind of trying to figure out like, how real is this? And I gotta say, like, that was one of the things that I thought was cool about it, you know, like early on, because we should say this is like a conspiracy film as well, which
so here he decides to try and tell him And like then the van goes. He's
Yeah.
like they always pop up everywhere. It's like how does he know what he's about to do in the car? Like it's so funny.
Yeah, this is a great shot
Here he
too.
is,
Like
I'm
walk.
watching you.
Yeah, Walken's driving.
That's
the
another
van.
thing. Christopher Walken is so Christopher Walken in this movie.
Yeah, he's coming straight off Pulp Fiction speech of I kept this watch up my ass for 8 years for you, and he's really like this. Like if you want to see Christopher Walken be Christopher Walken, like I feel like Christopher Walken went like full Walken way before Al Pacino became hoo-ha Al Pacino. You know what I mean? Like Walken was like the original hoo-ha, but it was just great because it's just like. I think he kind of
there he is on the back.
yeah, he's like just constantly there. But I feel like movies now because you're kind of like realistically
There's so many moments of these where it's just like he tries so hard to pass a message and like it just fails.
yeah, everybody he meets he's trying to get to help him or get word to the cops or do whatever, and it's just really hard because it's like you can't go out. He can't talk to anybody for too long. He can't really do much, or else
Christopher Walken will pop up.
Yeah, and it's just like that, and like nobody's really like wanting to help him too, but I don't know, like I just think it's cool because like when you watch this movie, especially when you see it for the first time, like you wonder like is this like are they serious? Would they really kill his daughter if he doesn't do this? And it's just like I like it how it just keeps kind of like ratcheting up a notch, like where you find out as time goes on that they are serious and like these, because it's like I feel like the inclination would be like, well, if you want to kill somebody so bad, why don't you just do it? So like you must just be trying to pressure me to murder somebody for you because you can't really do it, but that's really not the case. Yeah. There's really a reason why they need like a person to kind of an outside person to do it and take the fall. I mean, the whole thing is just like, yeah, he's supposed to do the assassination for sure, but the whole thing is a setup. No, I always thought this hotel was like really awesome, and I've seen the outside of it. Like I was telling you the other night, I've seen the outside of this hotel on L.A. movies, like city shots a lot. But I've never seen the inside, and the inside is, like, really great. But, yeah, like, this is what I mean about this movie being, like, when I say over the top, I don't mean, like, shitty over the top. I mean just, like, big, bold, expressive movie. Like, he looks up, he sees them unveil this giant banner of the governor. Yeah, that's what I mean. They get the triple take shot, and then he pulls open the envelope, and he's like, oh, shit, I'm supposed to go here and assassinate the governor. Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's pretty awesome.
And then he's like, come on, you gotta come kill her, come on.
I mean, not like they could have ever, like, afforded him, but I feel like Christopher Walken would have been an awesome Freddy Krueger, because he just, like, pops up nonstop.
But, like, there was also the very first thing that I saw, this guy's gonna become important in this movie.
Yeah, the little, he's not a janitor, but the little guy keeps up the lobby, yeah.
The first thing that I saw that I was gonna say was so Walken, like, at first was when they were still in the van, he was, like, giving him the gun, and he, like flipped the gun to, like, I don't know what the gun parts are called, like, when he was, like,
yeah, where you put the bullets
barrel,
in,
I guess, or whatever you call it. Yeah, like, he, like, flicked it, and it was, like, that's so Walken. Like, you didn't even have to see his face to know that was so Walken.
Yeah. Like, he had, like, that movement, like, how Walken always dances. Like,
Yeah.
like, a lot of people don't know, like, Walken loves
He had
being...
his left hand was all out to, like, all, like, flimsy, and then his right hand was, like, handling the thing. It was funny.
And, like, kind of rewatching this movie again and also, watching it in high def or whatever, it's just, like... Because, I mean, I know this is, like, an older movie. This movie's, like, whatever it is, 25 years old, I guess, at this point. But, you just, like, you watch it and you're like, holy shit. Like, and I guess, too, obviously, because I was real young when this came out, too. I was still a teenager. But, like, you look at Johnny Depp and you look at Christopher Walken, you're like, fuck, they're so young in this movie, both of them. Even Walken, like, he's really not that old in this movie. Yeah. Just weird how time goes by and, like, as you age, like, you look back and you're like, well, shit, like, I was looking at these people like they're grown-ups, and then, like, now I look at Johnny Depp and I'm like, was he even old enough to play the dad here? And I'm like, oh, I guess he was. The daughter's only, like, 6 or 7 years old. I guess he could have been, By the way, see this kind of like halo lighting that like he's walking down the stairs. Like I miss that lighting in movies where like the overhead light was very bright and it would kind of come down and like bounce off things and kind of make that halo effect.
But look, it's more like it's coming in through the windows that are up there.
Yeah, I mean it's meant to be the sunlight. Now here we get some Asian tourists, I guess, that are videotaping everything that goes on.
Oh, jeez.
It's kind of cool that kind of gets worked into the conspiracy.
One of our biggest contributors let him in. Oh.
Yeah, they gave Johnny Depp a special badge to like wear, like a name tag badge that identifies him as like a big contributor to the governor's campaign here.
What is she holding in her hand?
That was like one of those little mini computers at the time. It was like a personal assistant. They used to call them like PDAs or whatever.
I thought a PDA was almost like a cell phone.
I mean, it kind of was, but it was just like a basic computer. Yeah, Johnny Depp is able to get into the elevator with the governor.
He gets so nervous in this scene.
See, this is what I mean. I love the close up of him when he's like all sweating, like just the way he's kind of frozen in fear there, and he's trying to talk, and he's all sweaty, and he's all jumbling his words. Like, I don't know. Like, that's why I think it's like not only good filmmaking style of the movie, but also a good performance by Johnny Depp.
Oh my God.
Like I feel I feel so claustrophobic in this elevator scene. Like you feel what he's feeling. You know what I mean? And there's the governor has like a security guy there, clearly like an armed guard guy. So like there's that, and
oh my God,
he's kind of looking at them suspiciously.
Jeez, I wonder why nobody was ever like, "Why are you so sweaty?"
Well, yeah, the lady, the assistant does notice it. Yeah,
she asks,
and I think they even ask her now is like ask him if like everything's okay.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I think this is harder to watch without sound. Because you feel the tension more without the sound.
Like when you're not hearing the words too, you're just looking at their faces. Yeah.
And too, the filmmaking itself, like it could totally be a silent film, like, and you'd still get like the point of like what's going on.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I knew he was working on a new movie, but I just heard John Woo has a new action movie coming out. And it's a completely movie with like no dialogue.
Wow.
Yeah. So I'm wondering if it's going to be like this, where you're just focusing on the looks on people's faces a lot. Mm-hmm. But yeah, like this scene too is great when like they get off the elevator and then it's just Walken and Depp in the elevator. And he asks him like, "How come you didn't shoot her?" And he says, "Well, I didn't load the gun yet." And Walken like punches him. Like, just that scene is so powerful when Walken's like screaming in Johnny Depp's face like that. I think these are kind of like optical effect shots here with the reflections, but I like those shots of the elevator glass reflecting on their faces.
God, the good poor guy, his tie is all disheveled.
Johnny Depp looked like the most like normal guy at the beginning of this movie, and like now he's sweating. He looks like he's about to have diarrhea in his pants. He's acting like he's
got Edward hair.
Yeah, I was gonna say Edward from Twilight, but like I was gonna say like he's starting to look like Edward Scissorhands now. He's turning all pale and like he's all upset.
Oh, see, I thought this was fun. This was interesting too. How like he saw the guy with the camera and he just walked away real quick.
Yeah.
And like at first I was like, why did he do that? That was strange. And then like you learn later on.
Yeah, the Asian tourist, the guy with the video camera, which is pretty nice. It's a high video camera. It's a pretty nice video camera. But he was filming the governor, now he's filming Johnny Depp. You're like, why? Because they had like that's the kind of the first hint of paranoia with the people recording him, and it turns out they are in on the conspiracy, obviously. But yeah, it's more than just this lady and Christopher Walken putting Johnny Depp up to this. Like there is like a whole kind of thing. I like these scenes too, where they just cut to the van outside with the daughter. Which, like, you think they would have took her to, like, a hideout or a lair. But, like, they really expected Johnny Depp to, like, just this normal guy to, like, waltz in there within 20 minutes and, like, kill the governor and like, leave or whatever.
I know, that was another thing that I was kind of getting annoyed with Walken. Because, like, the way he kept, like, even in the elevator when he was like, why didn't you do it right then and there? It was like, well, what was he supposed to do? There were so many people in there. And, like,
Yeah.
He was gonna just shoot her, and then everybody else was gonna be alive still. I mean, like, what was he supposed to do?
Well, that's kind of the whole fuck thing of it is there's no for Johnny Depp. There's no like really escape route for him because like they give him this itinerary of all these events of the governor. Like it's not like they expect him to kill the governor and then they're going to help him get away. Like no, they fully expect him to get caught and arrested, and there's no way for him to really get away. And like that's the kind of like screwed up thing for Johnny Depp too. Is like, what if he does shoot the governor, right? Like they're probably just going to kill his daughter anyway, because they're like, oh, if you don't kill the governor, we'll kill your daughter. But why would they leave the daughter alive if she could possibly like tell the police?
Why would they even leave him alive?
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's just going to go to jail, and obviously nobody's going to believe his story, you know. I mean, more likely he would probably just get shot by the cops or security or something. But like, yeah.
And then this poor guy gets sucked into it. But then he really helps him.
Yeah, and like, here's the kind of thing is like, just to kill like a couple minutes and calm down, Johnny Depp stops and get a shoe shine. And this is Charles S. Dutton, who I never knew a lot about this guy. Like, he just kind of popped up, I want to say on Fox. There was a show called Rock, and it was like one of those sitcoms that was just very much about like a normal, everyday, blue-collar guy. I want to say it took place in Baltimore or something. And I want to say he was like a garbage man or something like that.
Yeah.
So like, and then once that show was on, I guess he started getting a little more notoriety, and he was in some movies for a little while, and he was really good. He was really great actually in Alien 3. Probably gave probably the best performance in the movie besides Sigourney Weaver. And then I loved him in this movie, and I can't remember which movie it was. Maybe it was like Low Down Dirty Shame or something. But there was one movie where he played a villain too, and he was like really fucking good. But I think he's like a classically trained theater actor, and I love the character he plays in this one. He plays the guy who runs the shoe shine stand in the which is a very fancy. I've never seen a shoe shine stand as fancy as this one in this hotel. But yeah, and Johnny Depp's like whispering them, and Walken's watching them the whole time, and like I like the way they play this because like at first he like it like. It's very hard to make it believable, I guess, that just this random guy working at this thing. And they mention, he's a veteran, and like what's kind of challenging is Johnny Depp really has to kind of whisper to him, but the guy is like hard of hearing because I guess he was in the war. Like he's got to sign up. He's a disabled veteran. He's got a wooden leg. I guess like replacement leg. So like it's pretty cool that like somebody that like you're not expecting to really be able to do much. Just this guy who's like working the shoe sign stand, and he's hard of hearing and all this stuff. But he really ends up being the guy who like, if he didn't help Johnny Depp would have been so screwed in this movie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he really like had a whole plan that he like.
Yeah, he puts a whole plan together, and again, like that's kind of like the whole movie, kind of larger than life. I keep saying over the top, but it's not really over the top. This movie's larger than life, which that's how movies were when I was growing up. Like when I was a kid, like my view of reality was so like skewered because I would watch movies and I would think that's how life was going to be when you grow up. Yeah. And then you grow up and you realize just how boring and mundane life really is. But this is one of those movies I like it in like a good way because it's like, I don't know, it has that, what do you call it, suspension of disbelief. But yeah, like they have to play it cool, like he's just going back to the shoe shine stand and reading a magazine or whatever. And like I don't know, like
he's trying to figure out if he'd like said anything.
Yeah, if he passed any information or passed a note or something. And like this part, they keep showing this like this lounge area, this bar, and like Johnny Depp kind of walks through, and like they keep showing like the different drunks and shit in there, and like one of them's like this reporter guy. And I kind of like this too. Like I liked movies like this that were just always setting up like locations and people, and like you don't know like if anybody here is going to end up being important, which they don't end up being, but like
it's like a reporter and a camera guy.
Yeah, and like they're killing time before the governor does her big speech later and stuff. But
well, it seems like they're attending all the events. They just in between they just all meet there.
Yeah, they run down to the bar and get a drink in between each. I like this too, where Johnny Depp Charles S. Dutton told him like there's a side exit you can like sneak out of where Chris Walken can't see you. And I actually thought it was cool. Like I would think this movie would be kind of more unbelievable if this scene didn't exist. And I thought this was a good tension scene. Like Johnny Depp sneaks up on the van and he slides open the door and he puts the gun in the lady's face. But she gives this whole speech and she shows that she has her gun pointed in the back of the middle seat of the van, and it's like right next to his daughter's head. And instead of just like her, like, I thought it was really creepy the way this lady does this dialogue where she's like, instead of being like, hey, back off, I could just shoot her in the head. She does this whole spiel about like, oh, you don't know what kind of gun I have behind the seat though. If it's this caliber, maybe you'll like, not go through the seat as clean, or maybe. And then finally she's like, but if I got a 357 Magnum, it will go through the seat, go through your daughter's head, go through the engine block, and then still go through and hit somebody down the street.
Oh, is that what she said? Oh, yeah, she did say about going... Because I was going to say, doesn't she say something about it going to the next block or something?
Yeah, like go down the street and hit a pedestrian in the leg. Like, I thought that was like, I don't know. It's a good, creepy, tensions moment. Because it's like... When you watch this scene, and like, I mean, I've seen this movie a couple times before, so I knew like, what was going to happen. But like, when you see this scene, like, you just want Johnny Depp to fucking shoot that lady in the face so bad.
Yeah, I mean, he could. It's not like she'd have time to like even.
He just
trigger.
Yeah, it's hard to say though. You can't take the chance. And again, I mean, I guess only a.
She looks like she's really knocked out.
Yeah, the little girl sleeping. I like this shot too. It's a really good shot. You see the elevator going up with the reflection. But yeah, Walken gets really pissed off after this. After Johnny Depp tries to fucking.
Isn't it funny how loose his suit is?
Yeah, Johnny Depp's.
Like,
yeah.
no man would ever be seen wearing that suit now.
Yeah, no, you
It
have
would
to
have
be
to
so
be
tight.
like skin tight, showing your cock and balls and everything.
Which you saying that like just gave me this weird like visual. I was like, what if they remade this movie now with Harry Styles? How terrible it would be. All his little tight ass suits that he wears.
You see his little ankles.
His socks.
No socks and his little slipper shoes. Oh my gosh, I can't stand what men think is fashionable now.
The fashionable.
It's practically pajamas.
The fashionable male. Now here,
I thought the way this part played out was actually pretty cool.
Yeah, so like he's going
Look
up.
at that guy behind him.
Yeah, the guy's hair all like
His
blowing in
hair's
the
all
wheelchair. Yeah.
That was funny looking. He just disappeared.
Yeah, like this is like the first part too. Like Johnny Depp kind of had a bad feeling when the Asian tourists were recording him with their video camera. He was like, oh, maybe these people are in it. But it's like, it's still like the paranoia stage. Like, you don't really know for sure at this point. And like, we still got a lot of movie to go, but what are we? Yeah, like, there's like less than an hour to go in the movie. And like, you still don't really know how big it's going to,
But
this
like,
conspiracy
just right here
is.
when you see like the metal detector guys are there, and it's just like, how is he gonna get in? And like, he's just watching them.
Yeah.
And then this guy is like, oh, come here, and it's just like, how is he gonna get in? Like, you're sitting here just totally like, what in the world is going on? And then like, you see what happens, and it's just like, oh.
Yeah, because he's got the gun in his pocket, and they're doing the metal detector wand on everybody. And this guy just pops out. I was like, I'll take you right up here. And he's kind of at the back of the line too. It's weird because it's not like this guy takes like the people at the front. Like, he just tells Johnny Depp to come up here, and like, you see him. He turns off the metal detector for a second. And then, like, he's, like, just waves him. And
He's
Johnny,
like, what?
Yeah, Johnny Depp's like, are you serious? Like, what?
Oh, my God.
There's a guy with the crazy hair.
Oh, yeah, there he is. It kind of reminds me of, like, E.T. or something.
He's just an old guy with, little bits of
He
hair.
reminds me of Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
With those little wispy hairs he has blowing in the wind.
Yeah, that's what it looked like. Johnny Depp and Baby Yoda starring in Nick of Time, too.
Oh, my gosh. Oh. And this again, like,
Yeah, Johnny Depp's trying to go to the head of security, which I don't even know why you would do that once the metal detector guy lets you through on purpose.
Yeah.
Like, you gotta, at this point, you gotta assume everybody's in on it.
Yeah, quit poking him.
Yeah, like, that's another thing that's fun about it. Like, you really get to watch, like, Christopher Walken, like, bully the shit out of Johnny Depp. And I thought this was a great performance, too, by this actor, Bill Smitrovich. Which he'd been in a ton of stuff before and since, but I always knew him. There was a drama show on when I was young called Life Goes On. And he played Corky's dad on Life Goes On.
He's learning more and more how deep this conspiracy is going.
Yeah, so he goes up to the governor's personal head of security or sheriff or whatever this guy is, and like the guy's like, yeah, I know you're going to shoot him or shoot the governor, like, shut up and do it. And just, like, literally, like, he can't trust anybody. And, like, I mean, just...
He's like, oh, my God.
Just trying to get the cops or anybody to help you in the first part was, like, damn near impossible. But now there's, like... I feel like the movie gets, like, 10 times even scarier now once you realize there's nowhere to go.
That's funny how he's like, yeah, take one.
Yeah, Walken is eating through the whole movie. He was
cracker.
eating at the buffet in the bar, and now he's eating crackers and shit. Watch how many bites Walken gets out of this cracker, too. It's a Ritz cracker. One bite. He chews. He says some more.
He doesn't even look like he's chewing it.
It's just like rolling around.
He gets some Sunday bread from Mass, like how you're not supposed to chew it. You're just supposed to let it soak in your mouth.
But watch. He's using this cracker, and watch. He's going to take another bite here in a second. Takes a second bite. But he's still got like 3/4 of a cracker left. And then like a second, he's just going to end up throwing it. Now this is
What's wrong with that? That's how I eat them.
He's taking like the babyest bite. Oh, third bite. Then he throws it. He throws the rest of the cracker like into the bushes or wherever.
He's a cool guy.
And he still has half the cracker left. Like the tiniest. Who eats a cracker out of the tiniest baby bites like that?
I do. You know that.
Yeah, but come on. That was a very weird speech that he gives Johnny Depp here, too, where he talks about his former partner. And he talked about him being a Mick bastard and all this stuff. And he talks about
his Irish-Italian partner.
Yeah. And he talks about how much he loves him, but then he got sloppy. So, he once he got the order to assassinate his partner, he did it. And he didn't think twice about it. And he says, now that's somebody I loved. Like, this is so hoo-ha walking. I love it. He's like, that's somebody I loved. Now, what do you think I'm going to do with your little girl? Like, I don't know. Like, I just love it. Like, this is so fun. And, like, I kind of miss that, like, movies like this don't really exist anymore, where you just get, like, two lead actors who just kind of go back and forth like this through, like, the whole...
gravy out of your little girl.
Yeah. Yeah, he calls him Irish black cocksucker. I mean, just...
Black Irish cocksucker.
Yeah, it's just, like, such crazy dialogue. So fun to watch.
Christopher Walken has good skin, man.
Yeah, I mean, even now when he's like way older, I mean, he looks like an older man now, but he still looks good for his age. He still looks like Christopher Walken, I'll put it that way.
She comes.
And there comes the governor. And I know I've seen this lady in a bunch of
big
stuff.
ass guy back there.
I know, it looked like giant Abe Vigoda from Barney Miller.
And he makes me nervous how he's constantly grabbing at his pocket like that.
Yeah, where the gun
Somebody's gonna
is.
see you.
I know. But I'm telling you, like, that's why I just think this movie is like, I can't remember if I said before, but like, yeah, unfortunately this movie didn't do well. Like, according to Wikipedia, it had like a $30 million budget and only grossed like $8 million.
There's Tom Bradley.
Yeah, Tom Bradley, the former mayor. And we looked it up the other night. Like, he was the mayor
For decades.
for like almost, like 20 years in Los Angeles. And he just got out of office like right before they shot this movie, like maybe like a year before they shot this movie. So they got him to come and do a cameo playing the mayor in the movie.
That was one of the things I enjoyed about this movie was that he's standing next to her assistant.
Yeah.
He didn't realize it. One of the things I enjoyed about this movie was the whole LA vibe, because, like, there was so much stuff in here that just, like, made me not so much homesick, but just was so like, oh my gosh, that's so home. Because like,
Yeah.
like at the beginning when they're like all that downtown area, it's like I've driven through there so much in my life, you know, like for whatever reason, whether my mom had to go there for some reason or, you know, when I was older for whatever reason. And then like seeing in the background of one of the shots, like you could see the top of the One Wilshire building, and it's like that One Wilshire thing was always like something you would see like driving on the freeway and stuff.
Yeah.
So it's just like so like crazy how like there were so many things that made me like that. Like it didn't really give me specific memories, but I just totally had like a feeling of home when I watched it. And then really, I think what really set it off for me was seeing Tom Bradley, because like when we watched it, you know, I don't know if you remember how I was like, oh, it's him. Like I was so like he's a movie star or something.
Yeah.
But it was like,
but he was such obviously a recognizable public figure for
like,
the city.
He was so a part of my childhood, because like whenever we'd have any kind of like, I don't know, like obviously city sponsored stuff, his picture would be on there.
Yeah.
And like that face, his face is so like kind. Like I just remember that he has such a soft, kind face. So like when I saw him, I immediately knew who he was. Like, and I just remember back in the day, I can't remember what it was, but I remember having something where like his face was on it and it said like Mayor of Los Angeles. And it was like a black and white, like real crappy picture, but I could still tell it was him.
You could still see his smile.
Yeah, so it was just like seeing him. It was just kind of like the cherry on top of like, oh my gosh, this totally reminds me of like my life when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And just being back home, especially because it's like an older style movie, so like,
yeah,
I enjoyed that part of it.
Yeah, this was an interesting part of the movie because he was taking the gun out of his pocket. He actually, because like once he realized all the security was working with Walken and that there actually is a big conspiracy, he was like, I feel like in this scene he was finally like, damn it, I got to shoot the mayor, and the governor, and he was pulling the gun out of his pocket to do it, and then her assistant just happened to be standing next to him and started talking to him, and then finally like this is like the first person he can convince to help him. And, yeah, she, like, goes to, like, take him upstairs to go talk to the governor's husband, because obviously the governor's husband's not going to be part of the conspiracy, right? And, like, I thought this was interesting, too, is she's like, oh, you have a gun pointed at me, whatever. And then, like, yeah, he's like, okay, I'll give you the gun. Do you trust me now? Mm-hmm. And then, like, finally she that's when she starts believing him that there's this whole plot to kill the governor.
They can't find him. They don't know where he went.
Yeah, and she says, you know, we have enough time because the speech, I know exactly how long it is. We have enough time if we go now to go tell the governor's husband. And
look, she's making a speech about carrying guns to school. How fucking crazy is that?
Yeah, like how crazy is it?
Back in the 90s.
Yeah, the mid 90s. It's still like,
and we still haven't fixed it.
Yeah. I feel like this is where Johnny Depp made his biggest mistake, though. Why does he stand in the elevator looking out, like so Walken can see him? Like, if he just would have had his back to like the outside of the elevator, they might not have been able to tell it was him. You know what I mean? But now they're clearly on to him. They're like, and Walken's telling the other head of security guy, like, we gotta get there.
Him, the movie wouldn't progress.
I know. That's the really like only. I thought that too when we were watching it the other night. That's the only kind of like, what do you call it? Convenient moment, I guess you could say. But this is like where the movie really gets crazy, and they go and tell her husband, and he's like in disbelief and can't believe it and whatever. And her husband is up there talking to her like, you're supposed to believe he's like a big donor guy. Like that's how they explain who he is. I want to say this guy's name is like G.D. Spradlin. I looked him up. He was a very classic actor, this older gentleman. It's very hard to tell what this guy's saying in the whole movie.
We'll know with the caption.
That is true. We have the captions. But he just has like such a like an old Buddy Epson type voice.
Yeah, I couldn't understand anything he was saying.
Yeah. He kind of talks over the street. He kind of just talks like that. But I mean, he's a minor character though. But yeah, Gloria Reuben played the assistant. Like, I was really surprised. You know, I've seen this movie a couple times, but it was, so long ago or whatever that I didn't remember what happened to her character. But she was a pretty popular actress at the time. I want to say she was on ER. And then she co-starred, had a big role in the movie Time Cop with Van Damme, which came out, right before this. And, I was surprised. She totally just gets, whacked here.
This part.
Yeah, this is the nightmare coming true. All of a sudden, Walken comes in. And,
oh, my God.
It turns out everybody actually knows Walken. He just grabs a pillow and the gun. He goes, right up to her and shoots her in the stomach, kills her.
Yeah.
You gotta admit, Walken's good here. How scary he is. Jesus. That slow motion of her falling to the ground. It's just classic filmmaking. I love it. I miss that kind of thing in movies. And now, we find out how big the conspiracy is. Even her husband, obviously, is in on it.
Everybody, even that guy.
Yeah, and, basically, with the dialogue here, and kind of what unravels a little more down the line here is basically what happened with the governor. Oh, yeah.
This is when Walken's hair starts coming to life.
Yeah, Walken, you realize how long ass his hair is. It unravels. It's almost like Trump's hair when it blows in the wind. It gets super long.
See, this part was when I first watched it, I was he's acting so funny, the way he's joking out.
Well, it's he's going cross-eyed and shit. So Christopher Walken is choking Johnny Depp.
Do it.
And so now we go into this weird dream sequence where Johnny Depp grabs the gun and it's awesome. He shoots Walken in the cheek.
Well,
and
now I can see when
up.
this starts, because at first I was what made him start having this fantasy sequence?
Yeah, it becomes a Lethal Weapon movie all of a sudden. Johnny Depp, he's got the gun, and if you notice,
I was getting all excited and everything.
Yeah. He blows Walken away, blows the security guy away. He's killing all the guards, and then Walken comes back as a zombie. His face is blown off, and this is awesome when he grabs Johnny Depp and he takes him to the railing. He throws him out into the whatever it is, 10 stories out in the lobby. This is awesome, and that part was always in the trailer too, which is such a fake out moment. This is pure Hitchcock here with the spiraling thing and Johnny Depp falling down.
Whoa.
Yeah, spinning. This is just awesome. That is an awesome whatever it is minute and a half of filmmaking. And he even sees his daughter in the elevator going down. And then we cut to he actually is just passed out because literally Walken choked him out. So, and it's kind of cool, too, because, I was telling you what's great about that moment. You kind of know it's, fake and over the top because, first of all, Johnny Depp shoots too many times. That's kind of, the clue before zombie Walken pops up. The gun wouldn't have that many bullets, you know what I mean? But, it's just a great fake-out moment, because I was telling you the other night, it happens late enough in the movie, you're watching the movie for an hour, it seems plausible that, all hell could break loose now, you know what I mean? And, more shit could happen. But then it turns out, no, they just choked him out, he, that was a nightmare he kind of had. I mean, it's a cheap filmmaking trick, but I think it's fucking awesome.
I didn't like it. I felt duped.
You felt like they tricked you too much. You're
I was all excited. I was like, "Yeah, he's big badass now." And then, and then they just showed him pass out. I was like, "Ah, man, that sucked."
Yeah.
I didn't seriously feel duped, but I did, but I'm not mad about it. But it just, I don't know. I don't like those kinds of that mechanism in movies. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't like that thing of being tricked like that.
Well, I don't like that thing too of when somebody wakes up from a nightmare.
That was a classic.
And then they're still awake. Yeah, with the person, the body laying in the foreground, and then his face looking.
Italian.
Yeah, it's kind of all ripped off of Hitchcock, but yeah, it's the Palma would always do it with the split diopter. That might have even been an optical, because usually when they do it, you can see a line down the screen where the two lenses. That didn't have it. It's just she was a certain way, and then he was in focus too. But yeah, it's just this is where there now there's literally no escape for Johnny Depp, and when you watch the movie, because at this point Charles S. Dutton hasn't started to help him yet or anything. So at this point, you just still think he's just completely on his own. And you just think, damn, he's, really, really, really screwed. There's no escape.
I wonder when Walken had time to comb his hair.
Oh, he just wet his hands in a big sheet. He put a he just kneed Johnny Depp in the balls. He just greased it all back. I like this part where he's like, "Security force, take the next car, thank you." And like, there's clearly a guy laying on the ground all fucked up. So, like, we've been having a little bit of a Johnny Depp movie marathon. Partially because I got a miniature Johnny Depp box set a couple months ago. And there were some movies in there that...
but mostly because I was watching the trial 24/7.
Yeah. Which, we're not... I know there's like a big thing now for everybody to be just so crazy about Johnny Depp and whatever.
We were fans of his before all that.
Yeah.
So we're not like...
We're not...
I mean, I was watching the trial because I was a fan, but... Just more, I was watching it from a psychological perspective because I studied psychology, and to me, that was what was interesting about it. But, like, I mean, I was watching it because I've always been a fan of his, and it was just such an interesting situation, and so, like, watching him be like that, it kind of made me, like, want to watch his character stuff. Because I didn't like seeing him in that situation. Like, I felt bad for him, like...
Yeah.
Being, like, having to say all that stuff that he had to say, So it's like...
Having his privacy completely blown out of the water.
Yeah, because, I mean, that was the only way for him to, like he said, for him to get his truth out. So it was like... Because I was watching so much of that and hearing so much of his story and, like, hearing, like, the people in his life talk about... what his life was like during that time with her, like, it just made me want to watch his like fantastical movies.
Yeah, I mean,
I wanted to see him in a happier light.
Yeah,
although that backfired because we started realizing how much his movies are like almost like copies of his life.
Exactly. You think they possibly couldn't be, but it turns out they were.
It was so weird.
Yeah, we watched a lot of movies where, whatever. Johnny Depp was taking a lot of abuse. But I mean, that's, like...
So you just happened to have the box set.
I had the box set. I had this, which we just got, since we moved to this house. Like, we moved a couple months ago, and most of my collection is still boxed up. Literally any day now I'm supposed to receive some shelves, and I can, hopefully get my movies all, out again. But we kind of have a limited, library right now, and this particular movie came in separately about a month or two ago, and I've been dying to watch it, and we just watched it, and like I knew, like as soon as I bought it, that would like oh, I got to cover this because this is one of my, favorite, not just Johnny Depp movies, but this was one of the last great kind of suspense thrillers that came out, that I remember.
And I have to say, like, when you brought it up to me, I was kind of like,
oh. I know, I was trying to get you to watch it, because, like, we had the ones in... I guess we should say in the box set, it's got Sweeney Todd, Dark Shadows, which we watched those too, and it also has, like... It's a weird box set. It also has Astronaut's Wife and Don Juan DeMarco. But then we had this one. I was just dying to watch this movie since I got it, and we just hadn't gotten it. And I wanted you to watch it with me, too, because I was always curious about, and I was like, oh, like, I'm going to do this for an episode one day. But I was just like, it just dawned on me, and finally we watched it for my birthday. This was my birthday movie. And I was just like, why don't we just do it now? Like, we watched it, like a couple of days ago. It's still fresh in our mind, and it just coincidentally. So don't think we're just riding the same wave that everybody else, like on YouTube, is cashing in on Johnny Depp fandom. Like, this episode isn't a cheap ploy. I mean, I think I've already proved in the last hour how much of a huge fan I am of this movie.
I really like this part because I like how the guy started playing like he was deaf or he couldn't hear.
Yeah.
So like because he convinces Walken that he can't hear, then they just casually start talking out loud. Thinking like nobody's listening to them.
I guess we should say he's getting another shoe shine. He went back to the shoe shine guy.
Yeah.
And Johnny Depp tells Walken, like, oh, don't worry, this guy's deaf. He can't hear. And he does have the sign that says disabled, American veteran, whatever.
Yeah.
So Walken's talking to him, and they're just talking about the assassination, like right in front of Charles S. Dutton. But they
I
think
just noticed he said it does not. He
Yeah.
said $2 if it pleases you. It does not.
I know. It's like he doesn't even want to pay because Walken was getting a shoe shine this time. He's like he doesn't even want to pay the guy $2 to get the shoe shine. But what I was getting at before was we're not just riding in, cashing in on the Johnny Depp current hoo-ha, and we realized it was a very you can see one of Johnny's little knuckle tattoos in that shot. Interesting. But we're not just trying to cash in. We're not one-sided. Like for the other side of the courtroom battle, for the Amber Heard fans, we will be doing some Amber Heard movies later to appease all you fans.
Who's we? You and your guy friends?
Well, I mean, she has a lot of classics in her vault of films, so
I don't know. Maybe after the conversation we had last night about Ana de Armas, I might consider watching an Amber Heard movie.
Yeah,
it depends what it is.
But so this is a great scene. Like, Walken like is still lurking nearby, but Walken wants to get an espresso or whatever he wants to get a drink. So he kind of like, because Johnny Depp is with the shoe shine guy, he kind of takes his attention off him for like a little minute. Like he's watching. But he thinks the guy is deaf, so Johnny Depp's like covering his mouth so you can't see that he's talking to him.
Here's when he's telling him,
Yeah.
I got a plan.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is, but I got a plan.
Yeah, so like even though earlier in the movie he tried to get Charles Dutton to help him, like Charles Dutton was just kind of like, I don't want to be involved in this shit. But then when he sees that it's for real and he hears Walken saying that they're going to kill the governor, like he's like, and like I like that, like, I don't know how realistic or whatever, but this isn't really a realistic movie at all. But I like that idea of movies. You don't really see it as much anymore, but I like the idea of just a regular everyday person, like
if I hear that stop the violence stuff, I'm going to shoot somebody.
Yeah, I like the idea that just the unlikeliest person ends up being a hero, And actually,
It's the original superhero movie.
Yeah. I love this spinning shot here,
I'll make gravy out of here, what a girl.
Yeah, like it's one of those shots where like the room is spinning and Johnny Depp's feeling the pressure of the time and he realizes he's only got like 20 minutes to either kill the governor or, they're going to kill his daughter, and it's just they're like they replay all the lines of dialogue from earlier with the Walken threatening to kill his daughter. It's just a cool little stylistic thing.
This guy's still going on.
Yeah, the reporter guy's still at the bar getting drunk. I love this old bartender guy too. Like Johnny Depp walks off with his drink without paying, and the guy's like, "Oh, you haven't paid, sir," and he points to Chris Walken. He's like, "Oh, he'll pay for my drink." And I love like the old bartender guy. He has like one line. He's like, "Hey, sir," he's like whatever he says, pay for that drink. He's like, "Don't make me call the cops." Like it's such an honest and genuine line reading. Like it's so weird. Like I miss that too in movies when like people had one line, but they're just like, I don't know if that was just like an old guy that worked at the hotel or if he was a real like old time actor or what. But like that guy was like perfect. Like he didn't overplay it. He didn't underplay it. It just was perfect. He just seemed like an old guy that worked at a bar.
He doesn't know what's going on. He's just like, I got my job to do, dude.
He's like, come on, he just seemed like a real guy, be like an old bartender.
Like, take off your clothes.
Yeah. Yeah, this is, I forgot to look up this guy's name, but the younger guy who was cleaning up the lobby before, Charles Dutton has this scheme where Johnny Depp's going to change clothes with him.
Yeah, those scenes are super nerve-wracking, too.
Yeah. It's basically this whole kind of plot to switch clothes with he's kind of dressed like a bellboy, but he's not. He's just like a little, staff guy of the hotel. Then they have another janitor guy come out and starts mopping the floor and stuff. Cause and I couldn't figure out why did this guy come rushing out with the mop? But then I'm like, well, if he wasn't in there, Walken would just kick open the stall. You know what I mean? And see that it wasn't really Johnny Depp in there.
Yeah.
But
so scary.
Since this guy is mopping the floor or whatever, and he can't really tell him hey, get out of there or nothing, because it would raise suspicion with this janitor guy. Yeah. And that's the thing too. As much as Walken and everybody is up Johnny Depp's ass in this movie,
those two were playing that role so well. Like, the janitor guy's just like,
Yeah.
And then Walken's looking at him like, you motherfucker.
He's like, yeah, because he just wants to tear in there and he thinks
like,
Johnny
I'm
Depp's
about
in there.
to shit myself.
I thought that was funny too. Like the shot, for some reason, I expected Johnny Depp to like come climbing out of like the laundry machine, like he was hiding in there or something.
I thought this was interesting. I've never known like how they wash the stuff at hotels.
Oh, the linens and stuff.
This is weird. No wonder like all the towels come out all hard and stiff.
Yeah, especially with the kind of the old giant classic hotels like this. Like, yeah, they do have like these giant rooms down in the basement.
Although some of the ones we've stayed at, there is actually a washing machine room.
Yeah,
that we've seen like them washing the stuff.
But it's more just like literally a washing machine room. Like that was like almost like a factory
it's like
down
a
there.
steam room or something.
Yeah,
a steam dry cleaning kind of steaming thing.
Yeah. And like one thing, because we kind of seen that Johnny Depp was at one point willing to shoot the governor. Mm-hmm. At this point, when Charles Dutton concocts this whole scheme to sneak him up there as like one of the staff members and sneak him into the governor's hotel to talk to him, like it's kind of interesting because I took it as like Johnny Depp has a pillow with him too. Mm-hmm. Like you don't know if he's going to use it as a silencer to kill the governor or what. And like I always
that's the way I took it.
Like it's weird though because like it looks like he's going in to actually kill her, but at the same time, like I don't think Charles Dutton would help him if he thought he was going to kill her. Like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's kind of just like an interesting little 10-minute segment of the movie where it's like. It seems like Charles Dutton is kind of like trying to help him get up there just to warn her type thing, like see if the governor can help him and get his daughter back, and
but doesn't it just seem like the pillow fell down and he just accidentally like?
Well, yeah, the pillow fell off the maid's cart that was helping them, but the fact that we saw what Walken did earlier with the pillow and uses silencer, but Charles Dutton doesn't know that because he wasn't there for all that. So that's what I'm saying. Like the way the movie plays it is like you like Charles Dutton seems like the guy trying to help Johnny Depp do the right thing, but even here, look, Johnny Depp starts using the pillow as a silencer. He's really contemplating killing her. He just can't end up going through with it. You know?
I always thought he was going to on this part. I never thought he wasn't.
Yeah,
because the conversation that him and the shoeshine guy have is like. Basically, like, they're saying, like, do whatever you need to do to save your daughter.
Yeah.
So I always thought he was going in there to try and kill her.
Yeah, it's just kind of nebulous, and I think movies now would be, like, if they were to make this movie now, like, they would have to, like, insanely go over the top and let you know that Johnny Depp would never, ever shoot the governor. You know what I mean? Like, he's actually got her at gunpoint now, you know.
Now she's finding out. Now she's going to start finding out the truth.
Yeah. Like, he tries to warn her that, like, everybody's in on it, even her husband. Mm-hmm. But, like, you know, like, she doesn't believe it because, I mean, why would you? Just this guy comes into your room, sneaks into your bedroom, tells you this shit. But that's what he's saying, like, well, you know, if you don't believe me, go ask for your assistant, you know, because they killed her. And then the governor's like, you know, calls over to the next room and is like, yeah, where is she? And then, like, she talks to her husband and he's like, oh, I sent her on an errand, which is, like, very highly suspicious and weird, you know?
Yeah, he's telling her everything in this scene.
Yeah. So he's finally, you know, warning the governor and everything.
And him, Walken, still sitting there waiting for him in the bathroom.
Yeah, I like Walken's like, I don't know. It's like, well, you saw his feet in the thing. Like, you got to think he's taking a crap. Like, what do you think's going on, you know?
She can't believe it.
Yeah. I like the way this scene is filmed, too, with their faces and the lighting on their faces. Just like... I don't know, like, I mean, I think people who listen to this show on a regular basis know, like, so much of whether I enjoy a movie, like, yeah, you know, obviously I appreciate good writing, appreciate good acting, but, like, to me, like, that's what I think a lot of modern movies are missing is, like, they don't have the cinematography, they don't have the art and craft and the lighting and the photography.
This looks a lot like film noir lighting where, like, you know, those classic scenes that's in a detective's office and, like, just the one, like, like desk lamp kind of thing is on, and all you can see is in the office is the lighting coming from that light, and like the detective guy's wearing his hat or whatever, and he's like barely see his face. It's
like the light's coming from only one direction.
That's what it kind of seemed like.
Yeah. And then she actually pulls some shit here and throws a lamp at him. He has to. And she screams. She has to run out, and her personal bodyguard. Which that's another thing
but
too.
Now she doesn't know if she can trust him.
Yeah, her bodyguard Franco. But yeah, like I think all this is like really well played, and with the lady who plays the governor, and everything. Because now you see she's in on the paranoia. But, like, yeah, like now that all went sideways, like, Johnny Depp's really screwed. Now he just has to go and switch clothes back with the guy before Walken knows anything is up, really. And,
Here, he's when he says, I'm going to do whatever I have to do.
Yeah.
I thought he said that before.
Nah, yeah, it was after. Because you can see the shock on Charles Dutton's face there. He's like, well, what are you going to do? And he tells him, I'm going to do what I have to do to save my daughter. And, like, Charles Dutton's like, holy shit, did I just help this guy? And now he's
in
going
the toilet.
Yeah. It would make sense, though, if you were that nervous. You would just stay in the bathroom as long as you possibly could.
Yeah.
Probably have an upset stomach. So, yeah, so now we're, like, there's, like, literally, with the speech and the time of the speech, like, there's only, like, you know, whatever it is, 15, 20 minutes left where he could possibly do it. Because, like, for some reason, she has to die, like, that day, at, like, that whatever, because, like, that's what this whole plot is leading up to, the whole frame-up. They got him on videotape, Johnny Depp walking through the lobby. They know he's there, you know. And this is great.
Another part, that was so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, because, like, Johnny Depp was in the stall changing the clothes back with the guy, so the guy's still in the stall. He's just in there hiding.
He just stops him just so he can wash his hands.
Yeah, dude, Depp's trying to, like run out of the bathroom, and Christopher Walken's like, stop! You gotta wash your hands! And then, like, yeah, and just, like, meanwhile, that guy's trying to hide in the bathroom, but the little bathroom door is swinging open slowly, as they always do. Oh, God. And Bill Smitrovich, the other guy, he noticed the door swinging, and he's like, what the fuck? Is somebody back there, you know? Like,
another one of those shots.
Yeah, that one you can actually see the line, like, split down the middle, like, one where it gets blurry, and then, like... But the other one, you couldn't really see that part that much. Yeah, and the guy's just barely holding the door open with his fingertips so they don't see that he's in there. Realize that there's a whole, you know, plot. Which, at that point, if the guy would have noticed the guy in there, I think they just would have, like, killed him for sure.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. Now, it's funny that Johnny Depp was, like, so clean cut and everything in this movie, but he still, like, tried to have, like, a little bit of stubble of his, like, goatee and mustache. I thought that was funny. It's literally, like, a half-day stubble, and then the rest of his face is shaved.
Yeah, I saw him in an interview one time where he was kind of making fun of himself, how he can't grow facial hair.
Yeah, if you see him now when he has little beards and shit, it's, like, all patchy.
He does grow. Remember that one... whatever, I guess it was a meme that showed, like, different mustaches, and one of them showed an Indian mustache, and it was all scraggly.
Yeah.
If that dude's not Indian, I don't know what.
Yeah, I know. He has this little sauvage mustache that he has in those ads.
Yeah, he can do it.
Or they look like they darken it up to make it look thicker. Yeah, so the governor is like...
Well, he had told her, try and cancel your speech and see what they say. They're not going to let you get out of it.
Yeah, they won't let you get out because you got to die on this stop today. Because this is how they have it all set up. And, like, she tells him, like, oh, I'm feeling sick. I got a migraine, all this stuff.
She comes up with all these things.
And they're like, no. Like, it gets down to even her husband is like, no, you have to do this speech. You have... And it's just like... I thought this was, like... You know, sometimes the best acting... is when, like, the actors say something without actually saying it. And the way this lady plays it when she realizes everything Johnny Depp was saying is actually true. Yeah, it's a great acting moment here. So, like, basically...
It seems like they had to do something devious for her to become governor.
Yeah, like, basically what it was, and, like, what that old donor guy was, because Because the rationale the husband uses like, oh, but if you make the speech here, because it's a big like fundraising event, like, oh, we'll get all these donors from this speech, this lunch. It's kind of like a luncheon thing too, where they're like hanging out and eating lunch in this big ballroom and shit. But like basically what it is like she's running for re-election. The people that basically bankrolled her getting elected the first time, she went back on like all her promises. Like she started going out for like how they were showing before. They kind of hint that she's going after like all the interests like of like the common people more, and like they want her to kind of like, it doesn't go too deep into politics. You don't have to worry about it if you watch this movie. It doesn't really go into politics, but they just allude to that basically. She got elected, she took all this money for her campaign, and she promised she was going to do all this shit for these rich people, and she ended up not doing it, basically.
That was basically her moment right there where she's realizing he was right, Johnny Depp was right.
Yeah. And, like, basically, it looks like she's probably going to get reelected because she's popular and everything, but they don't want her to because, like,
she's gone soft.
Yeah, she betrayed them or whatever. And,
there she's asking for her assistant.
Yeah. Which I think it'd be more realistic that, like...
Now she's realizing that, too.
Yeah, her assistant's gone. I think they could have played it more with, like, unleashing a scandal to try and ruin her somehow. But then again, like, she might still win the election, so, like, I guess they really do have to, like, assassinate her, basically.
But then there would be no movie.
I know. There would be no tensions movie in the hotel running up and down. This is almost... I never thought about it, but this would make a great, bizarre double feature with Private Resort. Private Resort, if I'm not mistaken, I think came out in 1985. This came out in 1995. And they're both movies that feature Johnny Depp running up and down the hallways of a hotel nonstop. It's just in one, he's constantly running up and down the hallway naked because he's getting caught having sex with other people's wives. And in this one, he's running up and down the hallway in the bellboy's outfit because he's trying to assassinate the governor.
We haven't said anything about the little girl, how she's so, like...
Oh, she's like...
funky and charismatic.
Yeah, she's total, like a great, perfect, natural movie kid. You know what I mean? But yeah.
It's funny the lines that she says. Why do you keep looking at me?
Yeah.
Because that's what I'm supposed to do. I'm a baby. I'm your babysitter. I'm not a baby.
I'm not a baby. Yeah.
I like the part too earlier when he's like, kisses to you. She's like, no, kisses to you.
Yeah, she's so sassy. And it's weird too because like some of the clips we've seen or whatever, like that one clip where from like wherever it was.
He's such a cool guy in this scene. The way he was walking in there.
Yeah, Johnny Depp's got his BMF. But yeah, like the way Johnny Depp is with like kids in real life, you ever see clips of him talking to little kids, like that's how he is with this girl in this movie. Like you can tell. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Yeah, I don't think he was quite a parent yet at this point, but you could tell he still had a good kind of rapport with kids. Which is funny because he ended up being like the pirate guy, Captain Jack, and like every kid in the world loved him. Yeah, see here you see the tourist guys in there recording. He's like they're getting ready to do a speech, and he's just zooming in on Johnny Depp.
Oh, this guy.
Yeah. Which guy? And then the old rich donor guy's watching this speech up in the hotel room on TV. But like, yeah, you always wondered too. Like, I mean, I guess now you just would do it more security cameras, but I don't think there's the whole security camera being everywhere thing wasn't quite a thing yet at this point in time. So like, yeah, they just like a few snippets of like, put that on the news, like, oh, here's the assassin walking in the hotel moments before this happened. Like, that's how they would have played it on the news,
I actually also like, too, how, like, you never see, like, any kind of movies like this now where there's, like, some elected official of some sort in danger. You never see them in California. That's another thing that I liked about it. It was, like... Yeah. I liked hearing about Sacramento and seeing the, California logo in the background and stuff. Usually now it's always some New York or White House, or it's always some East Coast politician of some sort. You never hear about California. politicians.
Yeah, now it's always like the whatever beach house in Martha's Vineyard, and the assassins pull up in the SUV and they get out with the machine guns and shit.
Oh, really? It's just all White House stuff now, honestly.
Yeah, it is really a focus on White House.
Nobody does local government movies anymore.
Yeah. I like the look on the lady's face as she walks in to do her speech and realizes.
Yeah.
So basically, at this point, it's like they don't really even have.
He's waiting to see her get shot in the head, and then
It's like he might as well just be the old man. He might as well just be fucking masturbating at this point. He's so just obsessed with watching this lady die. And this is chaotic too, where they drop all the balloons from the ceiling. But like at this point, like Walken is like lost. He's lost confidence because Johnny Depp's blown it so many times, and this is like down to like the absolute last time where they can shoot her. So Walken's actually up in like just like a little booth up in the room where he's got a gun just in case Johnny Depp doesn't get it done.
So much tension right here.
Yeah, and all the security guys are drawing their guns. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
And then even her guard, how he's trying to like look at her and like, oh my god.
I mean, don't get me wrong, for sure, even by 1995 when this movie came out, the whole kind of suspense movie had kind of died out because people didn't have the patience for it. But like even now, like I don't think you could convince people to sit still, and like I think that's why this movie is fairly short too. Like I said, it's a little under 90 minutes, but I don't know if you could hold people's attention and like, you know, willpower. Yeah.
Oh, man, what's gonna happen?
So here you see Johnny Depp's got the gun out,
Oh.
and he actually shoots at Christopher Walken instead.
She's just screaming.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Johnny Depp shoots out the chandelier.
Oh.
So yeah, Walken's trying to assassinate her now.
Oh.
He ends up shooting her guard. So it turns out her guard actually was not in it, Franco, because he actually shields her and takes a bullet for her.
Yeah.
Look at the old man. He's so disappointed.
He's like, this is bullshit.
Like Johnny Depp's just shooting his gun up in the air just to like make everybody panic, but like he really needs to like start shooting these guards because they're getting ready to kill him.
He just fell.
Yeah.
Funny looking.
The one corrupt guard guy was chasing and just fell down, all the people going crazy. But this is like I kind of forgot how awesome this whole sequence was here at the end. Like my adrenaline was pretty pumping the other night when we were watching it. I was like, oh shit. And then the whole hallway parts. Yeah, the desserts getting blown off the carts. It's crazy.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy too because you think it's just gonna be like a moment to stop him. The little bellboy guy, he pops up and hits him with the dessert cart. The security guy, but he actually knocks him to electrical panel, and pretty much it looks like he dies. He gets electrocuted.
This dummy. They did it. They actually killed you.
Yeah, her. Why was she married to such an evil ass husband?
Oh, I heard you, motherfucker.
Yeah, he was like whispering, "They did it. They killed you. Oh, it all worked. Sorry, my love." Blah blah blah. And then she was just unconscious for a second.
He didn't even say that. He said a bleeding heart, something or other, governor. Like he wasn't even giving her lovey-dovey.
Yeah, he was just insulting her. And then she woke up and heard all that shit.
He had to have been wearing a.
Yeah, because he got shot a couple times, and he hit the guard guy to shield her. He had a bulletproof vest on, but
he's so annoyed that she's not dead.
I know, the bullet went in his shoulder.
What an asshole!
At that point, the guy should have just grabbed like one of the guards' guns and killed himself.
130.
Yeah, so like even the lady outside with Johnny Depp's daughter, I guess we should clarify, if she doesn't hear anything by that certain time in the afternoon, like yeah, Walken is supposed to call her and say, okay, kill the girl, but even if and they kind of set up the whole thing that the walkie-talkies didn't work in that ballroom because there was so much concrete in the walls. But it's like, yeah, like even if Walken doesn't say anything, she's still gonna kill Johnny Depp's daughter.
Look at him all of a sudden become Batman.
He's like Spider-Man. Yeah, Johnny Depp is Spider-Man. That was a good stunt double too. The stunt double guy who rolls down the steps for Johnny Depp, he's got Edward Cullen hair too. I like this part. Yeah, where he fist fights Walken going down the. And like you don't really see this in movies anymore. This part was awesome. Yeah, where he pins Johnny Depp to the wall,
going crazy.
and then he just drops him down into the thing. into the water fountain.
To the lily pads.
The lily pads. The lily rose pads. Yeah, so like the lady's actually gonna go through and kill the little girl, and she's basically telling her to close her eyes so she gives her a surprise.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh man.
She got the gun to the little girl's face. It's so crazy. And then all of a sudden, here comes Charles Dutton to save the day. He pretends to be a guy cleaning her windshield for $5.
That's what they do to you in Tijuana when you go on the street, when you drive in.
Yeah.
There's just a bunch of people like there, and they're like, they're just cleaning your window.
Yeah, they do it without you asking, and they're like, oh, you gotta pay me now. I did it. Yeah, it's been a scam forever. And like, yeah, this is like a little goofy, but at the same
You
time,
have to pay me now.
yeah.
Oh my god.
It's kind of funny how like the whole bit he does with arguments. They're like, "You're not gonna pay me. I cleaned your window. You want to give me
like
daughter?"
a pig.
So yeah, he tries to take her walkie-talkie.
I think this is worth $1.
Yeah. And then this whole fight that the lady and Charles Dutton has is crazy. Like it's so like crazy and over the top. Like she's gonna shoot him, and she does shoot him, but she ends up shooting him in his artificial leg.
Man, that's gnarly.
Like I said, like it gets a little silly here, but I mean the movie is climax, and you got to have some sort of action stuff at the end. It's funny too because like this part you could totally tell was shot on a backlot. Yeah, Chris Walken shows up to shoot the daughter. He's shooting at her in the back of the van. She's jumping and diving for dear life.
Finally,
Johnny Depp emerges triumphant. He's all beat up
with his sunburned face.
He got sunburned when he got thrown in the water. So he does finally, Yeah, Walken's got an awesome line at the end after Johnny Depp shoots him. He says, "I knew I could make a killer out of you."
Do it. Kill that fucker.
I don't know, like, and then Charles Dutton's fighting the lady. He ends up knocking her out with his wooden leg, but like, the little girl runs to Johnny Depp. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I've been complaining about it for a while, but like all these sour ass movies now that are all no heroes, no villains getting their comeuppance. Watch when he knocks her out. He like cold cocks her with like the plastic foot. I think they just did like a thing, and he was like had his leg like down in the ground, like they were on like an artificial platform. You know what I mean? That's what it looked like to me, because it didn't look like green screen, like they removed his leg or anything. Because even the ground, when it showed it when they were like rolling around the ground, like it was like kind of looked like fake asphalt. But yeah, like just a perfect wrap up to all that tension and all that whatever. So yeah, I mean, a lot of times when you revisit movies and all that, like years and years later, like, they might be different than when you remember. They might be not as good as you remember. I always loved this movie for the style of it. Yeah, here we see the old donor guy who's behind the whole murder plot from the get-go. He just gets into a car and drives away. Like, and the implication is that, he gets away scot-free. Like, pulling the strings, I guess you could say.
The syndicate.
Yeah, the syndicate. The head of the syndicate. Which
he forgot his cigarette.
Yeah, like, it was a very happy ending with Johnny Depp getting his daughter back, but then with the guy driving away, it's kind of like, oh, the true bad guy did get away,
Yeah.
But I don't know, like, this movie, and I always liked it because the style of it and the fact that it was a really old-fashioned movie. It was a movie of the 90s paying homage to movies of, like, the 40s and 50s and stuff. Obviously, but I mean, to me, it just held up. It just still was a ton of fun. I mean, Johnny Depp's one of my favorite actors. Christopher Walken's one of my favorite actors. The whole tension of it, like, it's just so much fun to get wrapped up into. Like, I still would highly recommend this movie to anybody, and especially now that there's all this, Tom Bradley is himself.
Yep.
Now that there's this, this huge fandom of Johnny Depp, like, there's nothing wrong with, watching all your favorite ones, watching Pirates of the Caribbean and all that, but, like, really go into his back catalog of films, because I think he has a lot of interesting ones, like this, and What's Eating Gilbert Grape, and just, other ones out there. So like I would really recommend this for some buddy who's wanting to watch Johnny Depp movies lately. How did this fit into the repertoire, I should say, of Johnny Depp filmography that you've seen or haven't seen yet? Like, did it surprise you that he made a movie like this?
No, not surprising, because I know he made normal movies before he became the pale face guy, but like I just saw his sister's name on there, Christy Dombrowski.
Oh yeah, I saw it there night too. Yeah.
I don't know. Like I don't have any interest in seeing him play normal characters. Like I don't. It just doesn't like. I like seeing the. I think because too, and just learning about him, like he likes those like weird characters. So like I feel like those characters are the ones where he feels like he's spending the best time for himself, like making those movies. So
yeah,
I don't know, like it's kind of hard for me to watch him be a regular person because I feel like he doesn't feel comfortable doing that.
Yeah,
I don't know. Like, I mean, obviously at this point he wasn't who he became, so I mean it's not like Pete Wilson. That's another governor that I remember too. But I don't know. Like I am interested in seeing, what is it, Benny and June?
Yeah, Benny and June.
I am interested in seeing that one. But I don't know. I can't really think of any. I want to. Honestly, I could watch The Lone Ranger again. I could always watch that a million times.
Yeah.
But
we love. By the way, we both loved. We went to see it twice in the theater. Yeah. Like we love The Lone Ranger.
Yeah. So like, I mean, I was all down for him playing that character, and then it, like the whole controversy about him being Indian. It's like that's something that I understand because of like my own personal, feelings and situations of being Indian and all that. So, and not looking like it or, whatever. So it's kind of like, I don't know, like I mean, that's one of the reasons why I like the Lone Ranger, and the fact that he was adopted into the tribe and all that stuff was cool. But like, I don't know, like I don't know how many of the Pirates movies we've watched. I don't think I've watched more than one full one that I can remember.
I've never watched any of them with you. I've only seen the first three. I actually own them all, but I've only seen the first three.
Then I've probably only really seen one of them all the way through or something. But it's like now I want to watch them because after like that stupid article that was written about him being radioactive, I was like studying that chart that they put up of his the $1 billion man or whatever they were whatever they titled that chart, and just like looking through all of the movies he's made, and like how we were pretty much studying like what made him become so famous, and like
it is interesting,
like those movies those high dollar movies, like I want to watch those because I'm curious. Like, to me, what's interesting about it is like he's this guy, like he was this guy, like he was like a nobody kind of guy, and like not really a big movie star. I mean, he was the hunky guy from 21 Jump Street, but I mean he was still young, and like, it's not like he was doing a lot of like really famous movies at a young age, So it wasn't until like those later ones where he really started playing those like larger than life characters where he started to become, really, it was Pirates. Yeah. But like, I like to watch those because I like to see him acting in the way that, like, what was it that everybody saw in this that made them go so crazy about it, So to me, that's what's interesting about him. And then the fact that he just kept doing them, like... Well, yeah. And then he, like, totally became Jack Sparrow.
I think, obviously Jack Sparrow is, like, a certain character, but, like, all his other Tim Burton characters, all the heavy makeup characters, I think Johnny Depp is interesting because he really, like... He almost became like the modern version of like Lon Chaney, like how Lon Chaney played all the classic horror things, and he always did the makeup himself, and
he's very much into old Hollywood.
Yeah, like he's, and obviously he did Ed Wood and everything, but like, yeah, Johnny Depp is just totally like, when he gets to play those roles, and it seems like that's what he prefers, like, he's very much channeling like classic like theater, like
classic film.
Yeah, classic film characters where you're just literally from head to toe transforming into a character, and like especially after watching this one, I do want to rewatch Donnie Brasco because I got the Blu-ray for the first time with that a couple months ago as well, and it's like the extended cut, which I've never seen. I only saw whatever version was in the theaters,
Yeah.
So like that was like only like maybe 3 or 4 years, maybe less after this, or or maybe a couple years after this. But like Donnie Brasco, I think, is kind of like, I guess you could maybe argue like The Astronaut's Wife, which is like 2000, which is kind of like a suspense sci-fi mystery thing. But I mean, like, yeah, like, other than that, like, I can't remember. I guess maybe you could argue, like, obviously something like Finding Neverland or Chocolate, but, like, Chocolat, I should say. Chocolat. Like, yeah, he just never plays like a normal guy, like, ever again after about, like, 2002 or something, you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I mean, I don't know, I like that. Like, I don't know. I don't want to see him be normal, like, he doesn't seem like he likes that. It seems boring to him, like, to play a normal character.
Well, yeah, well, even when Kevin Smith got him to do those little low-budget movies where he just did the little cameos, Tusk and Yoga Hosers, which I liked. A lot of people didn't like it. I liked those. But he...
Fucking Tusk is the most weirdest, traumatizing movie.
Yeah.
Like, the visual of that dang suit, it's so freaking weird. Like, it like gives me the heebie-jeebies when I think of that movie.
But like Johnny Depp, like, he plays like the French Canadian investigator guy, Guy Lapointe or whatever his name is.
And he plays him so like silly, like his eyes are crossed, and
he
wanted to put a penis on his nose.
Yeah,
he brought. It was funny.
Yeah, like he brought his own makeup guy to do the fake nose. Like he does, like it's really just the nose.
He showed up wearing the nose.
Yeah, like it wasn't like, oh, the movie is like, we'll pay this guy to come make you up. It's like, no, it's just like he brought his own artist. He brought everything.
The guy, he just showed up. Kevin Smith, he just said he just showed up to the set wearing the nose.
So yeah, I mean that's clearly. And
that's what I'm saying. Like, he's more into, like, really creating characters. And so, like, to see him in a role like this, where he's, like, literally just an everyday guy, it's not that I don't like it. I just don't prefer to watch him like that. Because I don't think he really cares for it. I mean, obviously he did because he made the movie. But at that time, he hadn't become who he is now. But...
Well, it was, I mean, it just more than anything, it was a different time in movies and what type of movies were being made, and it was kind of like, you kind of had to go with the flow. But he made a lot of interesting, quirky movies at the same time too. But it is kind of interesting when you say that, though, like when you talk about his more fantastical characters and how they really captured the imagination of like the film going audience, because a lot of the movies where he played normal, everyday characters, like, those are the ones that kind of didn't do as well. Mm-hmm. Like, Donnie Brasco did really good. It was known as, like, a really good, high-quality
But even then,
drama,
I'd have to say that that's not really a normal guy role, because it's like he kind of had to play, like,
the mobster guy,
like... It's still like
he's undercover
character kind of person. Like, it's not just a normal guy.
Yeah, in recent years, I loved Black Mass, and that was another one. Like, I didn't go through and like sit down and watch them all, but yeah, it was just like about a year ago. I was like, man, I'm missing a lot of Johnny Depp movies that I actually like, and it was that was around the time I bought Donnie Brasco, and I bought a copy of Black Mass. I mean, Black Mass, he's completely physically transformed as well, but I love that movie, that performance
That's
of his.
So crazy, because it's like, I remember, like, I think a lot of the times while watching that, I was like not even paying attention to the movie because I was just trying to see him.
Yeah.
Like I was like, damn, that's
and the
really
makeup
him. Like,
was so like
crazy.
yeah, he was so hidden in
Like
there.
you become so like, wow, like it's so amazing.
And I mean, just one of my favorite movies in general, but also another favorite Johnny Depp movies. I love Fear the Lonely in Las Vegas. And it's like, when I watch that, like, it's weird. Like, I just see Hunter S. Thompson. Like, I don't see anything about, like, I don't see movie star Johnny Depp anymore at all as that character. Like, it's just weird. He's just completely different to me.
Yeah, I've never seen that one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's it. I guess technically this isn't the first time we covered a Johnny Depp movie, technically, because we did do, me and Corey, like, I don't even know, 5-6 years ago, we did do Private Resort, we did do Nightmare on Elm Street. But this is for sure the first time we've ever, since 2015, I'm pretty sure, unless there's just something I'm forgetting, I'm pretty sure this is the first time we ever covered, like, a Johnny Depp starring movie. So I was happy to pick it to be this one, and one of my favorite movies. And if you haven't seen this yet, and you're into suspense, I mean, just into like filmmaking in general, I think there's a lot visually going on with this movie and the editing, just everything. So
yeah, I would say not like really strongly, but like I would definitely say this is kind of a preferred taste kind of movie.
Yeah,
because it is very stylized.
Yeah.
So if you go into it knowing that you're not going in watching a regular drama movie, like you're going in watching something really full of suspense and like that's meant to be like kind of a suspenseful melodrama of sorts, like And I mean, I'm assuming anybody who's listening to this is open-minded and isn't like a normal movie viewer, like.
Oh, believe me, anybody
to like seeing a lot of different things and genres and stuff. Like, it definitely won't bother you.
Yeah.
But like, if you're just a casual movie watcher and you think you're gonna go and seeing a regular kind of normal Johnny Depp kind of character movie, like, that's not what this is.
Yeah.
It's a very stylized movie. It is normal. I mean, it's, but
I mean, it's
a stylized version of a suspense movie.
Yeah. I mean, it's very much like, and like that's the thing is like movie studios get ragged on a lot for, certain kind of movies that they make and other type of movies they won't touch. And like, this is kind of like more of a classic movie studio movie. For sure.
Another thing I totally forgot to bring up. We went by it so fast at the beginning about the whole LA thing. The train station.
Yeah, the train station was iconic.
That's classic Hollywood.
Yeah, that's like,
and like even just like how like I've seen that train station so much, and like we would go to Olvera Street, like that's like right there nearby, and it's like just that visual of the train station outside is so LA, like, and it's so like classic Hollywood LA.
Oh, it's that's what I'm saying about this movie is like I mean, I'm sure it was, but like it's very much a 1940s movie location. You know what I mean? Like honestly,
because the station has never changed.
Yeah,
it's always looked like that. I mean, I haven't been there in probably decades now, but from when I was younger, like it always how it looks there, that's how it always looked.
Yeah. So and it's kind of funny too because like we're stuck on the Blu-ray menu now, but this is like pretty much the poster of the movie, kind of. And it's funny, like if you look at that, like it's kind of like it looks more like the train station setting.
Yeah.
So you would think it would be like the thriller set in the train station, but it's not. It's like set in the hotel across the street from it. But yeah, so I mean, I just love this movie because of the whole classic feel of it, and I think a lot of people listening to this episode will probably be listening to it because they probably saw this movie too when they were younger on TV or something. They enjoyed it too, but
they've been playing it on TV, cable a lot lately.
Have they? Yeah, like I know I seen it like a couple months ago. I was flipping through it. I watched a couple minutes of it. I was like, damn, I want to watch my Blu-ray. But so if in case you haven't seen it yet, I highly recommend it. So. It's just, like I said, it's just type of movie you don't see much anymore.
If anybody has cable anymore.
I don't think anybody does.
I don't know what channel. I think it's Stars. Isn't that what we have?
It could be. I want to say it's probably either playing on Stars or Epix.
Oh, yeah, one of those. They usually tend to show
I think
older
Epix, because
movies.
Epix plays a lot of Paramount movies, and this is a Paramount movie, so I think it will be. So yeah, if you have Epix or if you have the Epix app, look it up. It might be on there, but if not, buy the Blu-ray. The Blu-ray is like a $15 Blu-ray that's usually marked down to like 12. So there's no excuse. Complete. Oh, they say complete the whole Depp collection. So yeah, so I guess John C. Depp, happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Jack Sparrow. But yeah, so everybody listening, hanging in there, thanks a lot.
I've heard that dang quote about that people kept saying, like, oh, he's going to say this after the trial ends about the whole, today will be the day that you said. I've freaking read that quote so many times and I cannot remember what it is, but today's the day when you almost caught Jack Sparrow or something.
Oh yeah,
like that.
today is the day where you almost caught Captain Jack
When
Sparrow.
you will say you almost caught Jack. I don't know, something like that.
No, yeah, that's.
I read it so much and I can't even remember it, but that was what I wanted to close with, but I don't know the quote, so I ruined it.
It doesn't matter. So anyway, till next time, we'll catch you right here again in the movie graveyard.
Go check out the Movie Graveyard Podcast, available today on your favorite podcast platforms. The weird, wild, and wonderful movies of yesteryear are resurrected and live again in the Movie Graveyard. On each episode, a few of the caretakers of the Movie Graveyard will be sitting down to watch a beloved film and having a conversation while the movie rolls. Think of it less as a commentary and more of a chat that is spurred on by the events of the movie. Grab a cold one and get ready to go on a wild cinematic ride through time. Again, it's titled The Movie Graveyard. Stream it today on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and at themoviegraveyard.podbean.com. Many episodes up for you to listen to. Make sure you subscribe to be notified of future releases of The Movie Graveyard. Go listen, download, and subscribe today.